Hello, welcome to the Roundhouse Podcast with Paul Solentrop of Wichita State University Strategic Communications. Our guests today are Destiny Masters, a junior from El Dorado, and Director of Track and Field, Steve Rainbolt. Destiny is a three-time NCAA All-American. She added to that list earlier this month in Boston at the NCAA Indoor Championships. Destiny placed 12th in the high jump with a height of 6 feet 3/4 inches to earn second-team All-American status. In the pentathlon, she placed 6th, 4,338 points. She is the first shocker to earn first-team All-American honors in the pentathlon. Destiny, describe the big moments in the pentathlon in Boston. Was there a turning point, a light bulb moment, something that just filled you with joy and confidence that sent you forward?
No, I think it's event by event, and being able to start it out with a new PR in the hurdles of 8:32 really set it off to a good start. Being able to go to the high jump and going for another PR in the pentathlon high jump, it just kept rolling, and I was able to put it together better than I ever have before. So.
Did you have a favorite moment, maybe even after the events were over? What's the image in your mind that is gonna stay with you from that weekend in Boston?
I think finishing the 800 in a 225 was probably the biggest thing for me, because I have struggled with 800 and I've talked about it so many times, but that is the biggest struggle I have. So being able to run at least a 225 for my last indoor national meet, it made me very excited. I'm very happy about it.
Yes, the 800. We'll talk about that later. I'll make you talk about it a little bit more. Steve, how about you? What was your kind of big picture view of the pentathlon? When did you think, all right, she's having a good weekend and she's on her way to a big score?
So I know about this stuff, and I know how tough that stage is, and I was concerned that it's very easy to go to that meet and struggle. Our school record holder in the heptathlon outdoors is Tanya Friesen, and she was a 4,100 point indoor pentathlete. She went to an NCAA indoor and scored 3,700 points and did horribly. Just had a rough time at the NCAA indoor. Her final NCAA championship, she got 5th with a 5,899 heptathlon and did great, but she struggled at some NCAA indoors. It's easy to do, and I knew that, so I was nervous. I tried hard not to let Destiny know that I was nervous that this meet could go not our way easily. Well, she runs that 8:32 in the hurdles, and I was just elated. And so that's really a moment where I thought, hey, when she's going good, she goes good. And so I figured she would. I knew that she was lively and fresh and feeling good. I could tell because of the way she ran the hurdles. And I figured she would high jump well, and she high jumped spectacular. It was really, really great. And then it was on from there. She struggled a bit in the shot, and then she came back and long jumped the best ever, and like she said, ran her best ever 800. So I was super proud of her for battling back after a shot put that was clearly disappointing. No question it was disappointing. And even in the shot put, she finished with her best throw on her third throw, even though it was still below her standard. The ring was slippery, and it kind of messed with her, confidence there. But she finished on a decent throw, not a great throw, but at least a decent throw. And all of a sudden, and then she just long jumped beautifully and ran a great 800, or a very, very good 800. She's not at the great stage in the 800 yet, but it was a solid personal record and finished off a wonderful pentathlon.
So Destiny, describe the atmosphere, the mood at an NCAA meet as opposed to maybe your run-of-the-mill track meet leading up to it. How's it different?
The energy in the room is just crazy. I don't even know how to describe it correctly. You're sitting there and you're just you feel a good energy about the whole room. At a normal track meet, it's hard to draw upon that energy and try to use it because there's not much of it. That's why so many people start the clap. And this, I was shocked with this meet how many people started the clap, because I didn't feel like they needed it. Just there was so much good energy in the room.
So you talked about the 800, and that seems to be a challenge for a lot of multi-athletes. Why? Tell people why the 800 can be an issue for some of them.
For me, it's mental. After doing 4 events, I was sitting second, and I knew that these girls are coming in this 800 better than me by far. So that was already kind of making me stressed. But just finishing out a solid hard 800 at the end of 4 events, it's a hard thing to do, especially having like any of those 4 events beforehand going wrong. It's a stressor for sure.
So Steve, in the multi, there's always going to be events that they're better at some, they're not good at others. How do you as a coach help them, approach an event that is not their best? What are the words, what are the techniques to get the best out of them in a weak event?
I don't know that I have a great answer for that. Destiny and I work well together, I feel like, but she and I work well enough together that she can feel comfortable, and she'll just say, "You're not helping me right now," or something like that. I mean, it's not easy. It is not easy to know what to say in those situations. Now, I can imagine it would be easier for a volleyball coach or a basketball coach in the heat of the game, just yelling and getting after it and getting aggressive, but that's not the way it is in our world. We're between events and we're trying to strategize for the next race, and you can't just go, "Come on, you can do this, kiddo," because if in her case, if I'm not coming up with the right message, she'll just tell me, "Coach, you're not helping me right now," and I'm like, "Okay, then let's just do the best we can to get ready for this." We'll talk about the pace of kind of what we want her to come through at the 200 and at the 400, and how important the third lap is. It's a 4-lap race on a 200-meter track. So I don't have a good answer. It is truly a struggle. Practice on the daily is different than the heat of that moment. The heat of that moment is tough, and I don't know that I do a great job of it. But however we did it, she ran a real nice race, and so I worry about making her too nervous, because she gets real nervous about the 800. Most multi-eventers get nervous before that race, but some of them still are excited about it. They're nervous, they're scared, there's anxiety, but they're determined. And in her case, her nerves can almost defeat her, although she's getting way, way, way better as the years go by. She used to break down in tears, and I mean legitimate bawling. She was a mess as a freshman, and even as a sophomore, there were tears and real deep anxiety before that 800. It's just a very hard thing for her. You asked the question, why is it hard for the multi-eventers? They're wired for speed and explosiveness and power and quickness, and that 800 is an endurance activity. It's not an endurance activity like the 10,000 meters, but it's got an endurance component to it that is intimidating for some of these multi-event athletes. And certainly it's intimidating, or it has been intimidating for Destiny, but she's attacking it now. I can tell you, even since that meet, as recently as yesterday, she's attacking this darn 800 because she is determined to find a way for that to not be such a weakness of hers. She may never make it a strength like some of the top heptathlon athletes that have got great 800s in their arsenal, but she's determined to make it not a weakness.
So Destiny, what is the right message in those moments? Maybe it's the 800, maybe it's a different event. What do you want to hear from your coach as you're right in the middle of things?
I think it definitely depends on my mindset in that moment, because I feel like it's different every time. Like at the national meet, it felt like there was so much pressure on me to hold and maintain my second place spot, but like in my brain I knew I couldn't. The girls right behind me run 2:13, 2:14, like compared to my time, that's over 150 point difference that they were going to pass me. So in that moment, I think I just needed to hear my pace. So after he started talking numbers to me, and I said, "Hey, this isn't working," he started talking to me about my pace, and I think that helped me mentally. But I think like conference, it was entirely different mindset. I wasn't worried about pace or trying to get ahead or let anyone pass me. It was, hey, maintain your position right here and follow the girl who can pass you. She's the only one who can pass you, so don't let her pass you. So it was just attaching myself to that athlete. So doing that is totally different than trying to think about your pace for each lap.
Destiny, let's go to the high jump. So you cleared 6 feet, 3/4 inches on your third attempt, finished 12th. How do you keep your mind right in that kind of a do or die moment?
I definitely use my aggression, and I get mad at myself for letting it go to the third attempt. So by the time I'm on my third attempt, I'm like, hey, dude, why'd you let this happen? You're making this bar. You have no option right now. So I draw upon my anger for sure, but I do that quite a bit.
And you have experience in this, right? Am I remembering right? In the NCAA, was it the prelims, similar situation?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly the same.
Steve, when you see an athlete who has that ability to kind of summon it up at that moment, what does that tell you?
It's unbelievably impressive. The ability to compete effectively on third attempt in the high jump, on third attempt in the shot put, on third attempt in the pole vault. Anytime it's a do or die, this is my final attempt, if I don't get it done on this attempt, I'm done, is unbelievably impressive. And Destiny has shown over and over. You mentioned, Sacramento, California at the first round of the NCAA. She qualified to the finals on her third attempt at the bar that made it. At the NCAA finals in Austin, Texas, she made second team All-American with a third attempt make at the bar that earned second team All-American. I've seen Destiny make third attempt makes much more often than most athletes. Just remarkably consistent that she will bring a really good attempt on third attempt. It's very impressive. That's a immensely impressive athletic attribute of toughness, competitiveness, all that.
And those were last spring at the NCAA.
The ones were last
meet
spring,
you're
but then
talking
she's
about.
had some impressive third attempt makes this year. The NCAA Indoor, she did it at the Conference Indoor.
Did it at K-State.
Yeah, she did it at
For the
K-State.
record, I did it for the home meet, for the record.
Yeah, she makes third attempts a lot. Now, first attempt is way better in an open high jump competition, because in an open high jump competition, first attempt helps because misses hurt you in the event against another opponent. In the pentathlon, it doesn't matter. You get the points if you make it. Doesn't matter if you make it on first attempt or third attempt, you get the same points. But in an open high jump competition, misses are critical. But ultimately making it is really great. You know what I mean? So she ultimately makes it on third attempt a lot. Well, at Sacramento, she made it on third attempt, and it advanced her to Austin. At Austin, she made it on third attempt, and it earned her second team All-American. So those were meaningful makes for sure.
So Steve, we've talked about finding the right words, the right message. This setting in Boston is a lot different for you, because usually you're at a big team event. You've got 60 athletes to keep track of. There's all sorts of things going on. How's it different for you going to a meet like this where you had just the one athlete there? You were all focused on this event, Destiny, what she was doing.
Well, I love both settings. I love a conference championship where we have a 3-ring circus going on, and it's a crazy world and it all matters, and I love that. But I also head off to a meet like the meet that Destiny and I went to in Boston, just so excited because there's just one athlete and we're going to be able to focus on that for the weekend. And if it goes well, I've been doing this long enough, I know this is going to be awesome. This is going to be a fun weekend. And it turned out to be every bit of that. It was really fun to go through that weekend with Destiny and with Coach Heidi. Coach Benton was there with us because she coaches Destiny in the long jump, and the three of us just had a really wonderful time those 2 days. Those were a couple of wonderful days.
Destiny, in the pentathlon, is there a competitor, somebody from another school that you've really enjoyed competing against, or maybe you really enjoyed watching how they compete?
Yeah, I have 2 of them actually that I really enjoyed competing with and being around the whole pentathlon. The first one, she's in our conference now, Elisa.
At Rice?
From Rice.
From Rice,
And
yes.
she won the conference
Yes, she did.
pentathlon, right?
Yep.
The conference indoor.
Yeah, and she took 5th at nationals. She's just a great athlete to be around, and you can definitely draw energy upon her. She's just a little sunshine. And then Charity Huffnagel. She just changed her name and got married, but she is from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky. She is, super sweet. She was sitting there helping me pin my name on my jersey, and I lost a pen, and she ended up pinning another one in for me. Like, it's just the pentathlon little family we start to grow. Like, even at conference, our little pentathlon group, it's just so nice to be around them and draw upon their energy, because somebody always has more energy than you, and they can help you pick yourself up in those moments.
So Destiny, your journey from Blue Stem High School to Wichita State, tell us a little bit about how that all unfolded.
I did not expect to be here, honestly, at Wichita State, like, as a track athlete at all. So, like, being able to come on and get a partial scholarship and be able to grow as an athlete and have Bolt here to help me, like, I wouldn't be here without Bolt. And it's been a great journey. I'm so happy I ended up here at Wichita State, and I get to be a part of this team and help our multis we have now. I'm overjoyed by it. I love being here.
So as a late in your high school, junior, senior, where did you expect to be going, and then Wichita State popped into the scene?
I really wanted to take a year off of school completely, and my mom was absolutely not for it. She said, if you're going to take a year off, it's going to turn into 2 or 3. We need you to go straight to college and just start and get it done. Start it now. So I didn't really have a plan after she said that. She said she doesn't want me to go far. She wants me here in Kansas, and so I was like, all right, let's see what we can do. What schools do I look at? And
well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but for context, people need to be aware Destiny left high school after her junior year in high school, graduated early, and as a result, it appeared to me she was a young girl, and her mom was operating in that context. She was wanting to guide and direct Destiny according to the fact that she was younger than most people are when they graduate high school. And so she wanted her to stay close. So Destiny had some options, or got talked to by some schools further away, and her mom just was like not in favor of that, thankfully for us here at Wichita State. But Destiny wasn't even sure at that point. She was very much a small town girl without a real strong track and field background. She could have easily not done track in college, I think, is the impression I got.
Yeah.
Like she just said, she wanted to take a year off. If she had, it would have been really hard to go find a track program. Whether or not she was doing track, I didn't get the impression was super significant to her out of high school, out of her junior year in high school. It was kind of like, oh, so you think I'm pretty good at this? Well then, okay, I'll try and see what happens. That's kind of my impression.
yeah, no, that's pretty much what happened. I think if I had another year or 2 under my belt in track and field, it would have pushed me more in the direction of, hey, I think I can do track in college. But only having my sophomore year pretty much to base track off of, it was like, oh, can I keep up with the college girls? Can I get to the level I need to be?
Because when she says only having 10th grade, remember, we're talking to her in the fall of her junior year, or winter of her junior year, I don't remember, but before track season. So she hadn't even had a junior year in high school yet. We were operating off of her 10th grade performances, and they were good for 10th grader, but they were nothing special ultimately, for a senior in high school, but they were pretty darn good for a 10th grader, and she was local, and we thought, we're possibility thinkers about the multi-events. I know you and I have talked about that before, but we kind of think, hey, well, let's check this out, see what happens, and obviously it's just gone remarkably. I will take up a moment here. I'm not even sure Destiny knows this, and I don't know what I'm getting ready to say is 100% accurate, because I've not researched every single solitary thing. But I think there's a significant possibility that Destiny's 43-38 at that NCAA Indoor is the highest score ever scored by a Kansan, by any Kansas athlete in history. Now, Kim Carter from Wichita East High School probably would have scored as high or higher, but she never did the pentathlon. The pentathlon, well, if she did an indoor pentathlon, I don't know about it. So I could be wrong, because Kim Carter was an Olympian. She high jumped 6 2 3/4. She was an awfully good athlete, like really, really outrageously upper level athlete. But Kim Carter could have done indoor pentathlon and scored 43:38. This score is a huge score, and I don't even feel like I'm confident that Destiny understands the magnitude of 4,338 points. But I've looked up some of the schools that you would imagine. K-State has had great multi-eventers. Their athletes that have scored higher than Destiny, which is like 1 or 2, were internationals, not Kansas girls. KU has one girl that's gone better than Destiny, and she's a Missouri girl. I look around at some of the other colleges. Now, somebody could have gone off to college somewhere, and I'm not keeping track of that. I coached a girl who was a volleyball All-American who probably could have scored 4,300 points. She scored right at 6,000 in the heptathlon at Nebraska when I was coaching there, but she never did an indoor pentathlon. So and she's from Chinook, Kansas. I'm just telling you, I think to myself, I wonder if any Kansas girl has ever scored 4,338 points. And at this point, and I did a little research in the night, I've not found one. I think this might be the finest score by a Kansas, let's call Kansas native. I'm not even thinking of a Kansas native. I'm thinking of a girl that graduated from a Kansas high school, which we could refer to as a native. It's really, really big score. And I don't know that people realize that. I don't even know if Destiny realizes it. And so I want to point that out, that this was a huge effort by her. It was really a big score and an exciting accomplishment.
So Destiny, what flipped the switch from kind of lukewarm on track and field to now where it appears you are, you love the sport?
I think like ever since like 2 years ago probably is like when I started to do pretty decent, and I was like, oh, I can do more than I think I'm capable of. And every time I hit a new PR, I was like, wow, I'm better than I think I am. And it just kept happening like that. And I like to win. I don't like to just be here. I want to win. So I think that drive pushed me to wanting to be where I'm at right now. I'm not even happy where I'm at right now. I want to be first in the multi, but I know how hard it really is. So the goal is just event by event and slowly crawl to the top the best I can.
So Destiny, you've said Steve might be the only coach who could have gotten this kind of performance out of you. Tell us a little bit about that. Why has his coaching style been so effective?
Bolt has been very great coaching me as an athlete, because I feel like you have to slowly get me in the right direction, because I am stubborn. I push back. He knows that very well. He knows how to deal with my little outbreaks and my little crying moments. And I think anytime I had I'm scared of being on the track and running, I'm scared of this workout, he would let me go to the pool. He would let me do alternative things. And I pushed it way more than I should have with doing alternate activity. But I feel like he slowly got me in the direction of, hey, the track is for you. You can do good on the track. And I think just pretty much 2 years of me being in the alternate activity and then slowly getting me to the track is what I really needed to show me that I can do it. I can be that athlete. I can do well here.
Steve, why has Destiny grown into the All-American type of athlete that she is?
Well, I appreciate hearing Destiny say that my patient style, I'm a patient guy, and there's no question about that. And I also am I consider myself a reasonable guy. I want to be reasonable in some of these situations. And at times, she just wasn't ready for some of the hard training, some of the hard workouts that we might have been designing. She mentioned a couple of years ago realizing that she could be better than she thought. And since then, I will tell you, she's been unbelievably consistent with daily effort to get out there and work on the events that are so significant. And that daily work on event work, the javelin, the long jump, the high jump, the hurdles, the shot put, has paid huge dividends. And I'm talking about at 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning all summer long. All summer long. She doesn't hardly ever miss a day. And that's really admirable. It's extremely admirable. And it just became her routine, is to go out to the track and work on events. And she's become very explosive and dynamic and powerful. She's a very good lifter. I think that's an area that she probably can continue to improve in, but she's a very good lifter and is explosive. I will tell you that if 3 or 4 years ago, she's in her 5th year in our program. Because of COVID and all that, she's in her 5th year in our program, and she still has a 6th remaining. If you were going to just pick who is the least likely athlete in our program to make it to the NCAA championship, 4 years ago, she'd have had to have been in that conversation. Now, I don't know if she'd have been the least likely, but she wasn't very high on the list. I mean, she was just, you wouldn't pick her. You just wouldn't have, for a variety of reasons. But one of them was that she didn't look like she knew what she was doing when she did the events. And so as a result, she didn't look very talented. Now, I'm like, well, she's clearly talented. I mean, she's way more talented than we realized. It's sometimes when an athlete starts to figure things out is when you see the talent that they have. People can't just jump up off the ground like she can. She can just jump up off the ground, man. It's amazing how dynamic and quick off the ground she is. Well, and some of that is the result of hard work. Don't misunderstand, but that's a talented athlete. Destiny is a very talented athlete, and talented in ways that we didn't realize until she started to learn how to do the events. And then you're going, son of a gun. But Coach Heidi and I have talked this year and said, have you noticed that right before our eyes, in her 5th year, special things are starting to unfold right before our eyes? I'm a pretty positive guy, I think, and so I say positive things to athletes, and I've probably been saying positive things to Destiny for a long time. And then this year, I would say them again, and I don't know if she realizes, I'm talking about a different level. This year, in her 5th year, I would say, hey, Destiny, I think you're getting ready for some really special things. And I would hear myself, I'd think, she probably thinks I'm saying like I've always said. No, it's different. This year is different. There just have been some, I don't know what to say, different levels of demonstration of, a new level. She just has achieved a new level this year. And part of that is because she's so talented, and that talent is now got a foundation to build on, if you follow what I'm saying. It's really cool. It's really, really exciting.
So the Shockers are shifting to the outdoor season. Destiny, what's the plan like as you begin to get prepared for the outdoor meets?
I think it is roughly the same as indoor, but we are getting after the 800 even more. We get to throw the javelin and the 200 in the mix as well, and I'm super excited about the javelin. It's one of my favorite events as well, along with the hurdles, the 100-meter hurdles. So I'm really excited just to maintain the uphill I've created and turn it into outdoor season and run an all-out 800 and PR. We have a bet going. I have to run under 220, so that's the goal, under 220 this year.
Okay, what are the stakes for this bet?
Well, Destiny and I bump heads about training, and I've talked to her about, hey, if you really, really want to get good at this, we need to do some things. She says, Coach, let me try something. We have, as she mentioned earlier, I have flexed with her, and we have kind of approached this with baby steps. And some of those baby steps involve a certain training plan that involves like a single 600-meter run at race pace, or a broken 800 where she'll run a single 600 and then take a brief recovery and run the 200 so that she can kind of test her status or where she's at in the 800. She likes that training. She feels good about that training, as opposed to, say, 10 200s with very short recovery. Those types of workouts are really hard on her and really hard for her. She doesn't want to do them. She doesn't want to do those workouts.
I do not want to do them.
And so I have flexed with her, and she said, how about we try and continue with what we've been doing, and if I can get down to 220, under 220, 219.9 this outdoor season, then we'll have learned something and we'll maybe continue with that kind of a plan. If I don't, then we'll do it your way next year, Coach. And she proposed that. And I said, okay, you're on. Let's go.
Destiny, so long plane trip to Boston. What did you watch, listen, read? How do you pass your traveling time?
I actually sat in the very front of the plane next to a dad and a son, and I sat there for pretty much the entire plane ride, just talking track. That it was he was actually going to Boston as well, and he was going to compete in the high school division in the 2-mile. And he was really nervous, but I don't know, I really like talking track, and the dad was very into track as well.
Hi, this is Rick Muma, president of Wichita State University. Check out the latest episode of the Forward Together podcast. Each episode, I sit down with different guests from Shocker Nation to celebrate the vision and mission of Wichita State University. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Steve, how about you? Were you sending track practice videos to athletes? How did you pass your time on the plane ride to Boston?
No, I was either sleeping or I read a book. I spent a fair amount of time finishing a book on the trip. I read a book called Final Rounds, which is about a father and a son playing golf together, and at the end of the father's life, and they figured out a way to make a golf trip and play their final rounds together. And it's a heart-wrenching book, very, very awesome, sort of a father-son type of a book. And also I'm a golf enthusiast, so I enjoyed it, and I ended up finishing it on the trip.
Destiny, favorite coffee place here in Wichita?
Oh, of course, Dutch Bros.
Okay, what's your go-to order? Do you have a consistent one?
Yeah, no, the same one like every single time I go. It's the caramelizer with light ice. It is so yummy. Very sweet drink, but it's yummy.
Okay. Steve, we'll let you wrap us up. Brief outlook on the outdoor season, Shocker men and Shocker women. What are you thinking?
I'm excited about the outdoor season. We tend to be an outdoor team oftentimes. It's not uncommon for us to be 3rd, 4th, or 5th at the Indoor Championship and battle for the win at the Outdoor Championship. And that's been the way it's been the last couple of years on the men's side. And now the women are doing much better, and the women got 5th at the Indoor Championship out of 14 teams, and I feel like we'll finish higher than that at the Outdoor Championship. Now, how much higher? It's hard to know, because this league is a little bit of an unknown for us with, Texas San Antonio and Rice and North Texas and North Carolina Charlotte being new in the league. It sort of makes it tough to predict, but I'm excited about our team. I feel like we've got 2 really nice teams, and so, next weekend we host a home meet as our season opener, and then off we go into a shorter than I would like outdoor season, 7 weeks, and we're at our conference championship. But then I'm super excited about, this is a special summer with the Olympic trials, and Destiny, certainly, if she has a good heptathlon at either this one coming up in 2 weeks or the conference championship or the NCAA championship, she'll qualify for the Olympic trials, and that's a really cool event, and I will be excited for her if she accomplishes that, and I think she will. I think she'll accomplish that. And then we've got people that'll be competing in the U.S. Junior Championships in Eugene. We've got some really good athletes on our team, the Parrish brothers, that should make it to that meet. And so the month of June will be an exciting month also, the championship season. Okay. So I'm excited for this outdoor season.
Steve Rainbolt is Director of Track and Field at Wichita State Destiny Masters, 3-time NCAA All-American. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for listening to the Roundhouse Podcast, courtesy of Wichita State University Strategic Communications. We encourage you to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can find more Roundhouse content at GoShockers.com.
Bradshaw into Wingate. Wingate's going to dribble it a couple of times and throws it in the hands of Kuznard. Drew it away. Kuznard to Ryan Martin for the dunk. The Shockers are going to the Sweet 16. It's all over. The Shockers up 7. 3 seconds. 2. Jumper by Smith is no good. Wichita State to the Sweet 16.